Hello everyone, it's Omae and welcome back to the brand new video. Today I wanted to go into Grand Party with the OG 11th anniversary Kizaru, who is still an incredible GP leader and who is boosted with this season being a low gear tag character. I wanted to talk about the teams I'll be running him up with, why he's amazing, what units counter him, specifically the Blackbeard, who is also a boosted leader in this Grand Party season. Out of the 12th anniversary characters, he's the only GP leader that actually is boosted this time around, and he perfectly counters Kizaru. I mean, Kizaru is providing some of the best debuffs in Grand Party, a guaranteed chance of special bind, action bind, and paralysis, essentially crippling 4 enemies. But then Blackbeard directly counters that by reducing action bind, special bind, and paralysis for your quick, free spirit, and driven, as well as for Emperor's characters. So these two are direct counters, or I should say Blackbeard is a counter to Kizaru directly. And even though Kizaru is super amazing as a debuffer, he actually isn't really going to go well on the debuff focused team that I'm going to be showing you in this video. For some reason you can't add versus characters here, but versus Zoro from Zoro versus Nustro, as well as versus Blackbeard from Blackbeard versus Law are the 2 characters that would be here that are missing, right? So these characters focus heavily on debuffing the enemy. Usually I would promote a balanced Rumble team, and I have showcased this team before on the channel, but it's just so powerful, especially under the Blackbeard GP leader. Yes, it's perfect to run Blackbeard alongside the debuff team to counter Kizaru. You'd think that debuffing GP leader would go well alongside a debuff focused team, but it's actually the other way around. Blackbeard alongside these guys is amazing. This team is comprised of only driven and free spirit units, and look at Blackbeard's GP leader, it's really good. When there's 85 seconds or less, 40% CT reduction to free spirit and driven who have below 50% CT. Remember, versus Zoro as well as Caesar is activating super early on. All these units are basically giving the enemy defense down. So when it comes to Kizaru, he's doing fixed damage in his GP burst. This fixed damage is the same regardless of enemy's defense. So when it comes to debuffing the enemy's defense, it's kind of pointless to run a fixed damage dealer as our GP leader. Blackbeard is far better to run, and as I said, he'll counter Kizaru magnificence. I cannot speak. He's gonna counter him magnificently, right? And this team, Dot is our best friend. If you are using Kizaru, he's gonna cripple the enemy. Paralysis means they can't do normal attacks, meaning Dot will not work. And obviously if a character is special binded, or I mean action binded, they won't be able to do normal attacks either. So when it comes to a Dot based team, running Kizaru is horrible, man. Like, Kizaru is not synergizing with this team whatsoever. Blackbeard, however, is going to be amazing, especially for Caesar and Zoro, who use their special almost instantly, and then they're going to get most of it back from this leader skill, right? And remember, since Blackbeard is a boosted low gear type leader, he will have an extra burst. We can do 4 bursts instead of 3, and also this requirements will be reduced. So I'm excited. Let's get into the showcase. So let's actually first break down the team for you guys, why we're making these specific decisions. And personally, I think this is the best team that I can build for this GP season. Every team here is carrying their weight in gold, and you will see why in a moment. I would say the 2 most important teams is the Dot team, the debuff focused one that I just talked about right at the top, and then also the quick team. Bro, Lafitte is unbelievable. If you use him properly with Blackbeard, use that fodder mob to get Lafitte's CT delays activate twice with his passive, plus the confusion and also the CT delay from the battle reducing to 90 seconds or less. The amount of CT delay that this guy does to strength and driven type teams is unbelievable. If you go against either of those, either strength or driven, you will almost always win, especially with Blackbeard as our GP leader. And then we have our debuffing team, And the bench is kind of important, mainly fulfilling tag requirements. We have Pal as a Zoan type, alongside Blackbeard as a Logia type, and that will fulfill our requirement for Caesar to activate his special at the start of the adventure. And then we have 2 Straw Hats on the bench to fulfill the requirement for versus Zoro to activate at the start. And then we also have at least 5 or I think 6 Dex units for Saint Jupiter to work his magic, right? And then on the Blackbeard team, our main idea here, as I said, with the fodder mob, is so that we have Lafitte to activate his passive multiple times. Yes, of course. But if you're going up against an 8 enemy team, you lose the bandit, you suddenly have 7 allies, whereas the enemy has 8 units still alive. And this will allow us to have less units than them, which means Blackbeard will be doing damage ignoring defense, which we want to happen, right? And then San Juan Wolf, he doesn't synergize so well with the other Blackbeard pirates. However, this guy is still carrying so hard. He does an unexpectedly good amount of damage when he comes in, and that usually happens after Smoothie activates and does the sub swap, or Lafitte does his sub swap again after the bandit dies. And this will allow us to evade damage ignoring defense. With all the delay that Lafitte brings to the table, Shanks is only going to activate very late on in the match. Same goes for the other 4 Emperors. Yes, this team can beat the 4 Emperors plus Emu team. And since most of them are doing damage ignoring defense, this guy will activate before they actually get a chance to use their specials, thanks to Lafitte. And also the super special of Vanoga and Devon and Smoothie. All these units are delaying in some way, shape, or form. It's amazing. But the point is, San Juan will activate before all those units with damage ignoring defense, and he completely nullifies that damage with his special, while also doing a lot of damage, regular damage himself. So very powerful. And then Pudding is just there to proc our Smoothie. And then we have the final team. It's just a very solid INT team. We are using the Vegapunk trio, unsuper evolved, low leveled Stella from the PKA a few months ago from the 12th anniversary, then the super evolved and maxed one on the second spot on the bench, and then Vega Force as the first bench unit coming in. The ideal scenario here is that Stella dies very early on. Yes, he's still getting a lot of buffs like defense up, HP up from the other units, but if the enemy does damage ignoring defense, or the Emu gives ability bind to the 2 lowest HP units, which will be Vegapunk, then he will die extremely quickly, and then he will activate a lot of damage ignoring defense to world government enemies. So that's the idea with this team. Yes, it would make it a bit better if I moved Vegapunk to that middle slot, but Kuma is much better to have there. He's very tanky. We want his healing to proc. And also, I'm kind of just too lazy to move him to the middle slot there, Vegapunk. We have our Death Hit from Roger Eligaban. The main idea with this team, though, is that we can stall out the enemy. Remember, in Grand Party, as long as you have more allies alive than the enemy, by the time the time runs out, you will win. And even if this team doesn't do enough DPS, which with Sabo, Nikabani, Roger Eligaban, all these Vegapunks that do damage ignoring defense, I don't think we should have a DPS problem, and especially with S-Hawk coming in at the end. And remember, this team is free spirit. It's getting a lot of buffs from that GP leader of Blackbeard, so I think this is like a very solid trio. There's no weak targets here, just like Shanks's crew, or so they say, right? So I'm excited. Let's see what we can cook up with the Blackbeard GP leader. So I want to fight the Kizaru teams, of course, just so I can show you how well it counters them. Here we have, so Navy team, then we have 4 Emperors plus Emu with the Nustra on the bench. So this is going to be great for us to showcase how well it can do against a proper 4 Emperors team. And then the final team is unknown. Yeah, let's fight this. I'm quite excited. Kizaru will charge that burst very quickly. I think they just need to do 20,000 damage, and then they already have the burst charged. So we can fight, of course, the 4 Emperors and Emu with our Smoothie. And honestly, they made a big mistake by putting those 1-cost units on the bench, because remember, for our Blackbeard, you want to have less allies alive than the enemy. So their 12th any Blackbeard, if it activates super early on, it's not going to do anything. It's going to do spray damage or just a regular HP cut. But for us though, it means that we will be able to get our 12th any Blackbeard to do damage ignoring defense. They have a fairly good Navy team there. They have Kujaku and Luffy Lucci maxed, so that's quite scary. Unfortunately though, the Navy team is very good when it comes to CT, and that is not good for the DOT team. DOT team is great against low CT teams like the quick team that take a long time for the specials to charge. Remember, DOT only activates when the enemy does a normal attack. With the Navy team, there's not going to be as many normal attacks. We will get mauled. So I think INT team is the way to go, then the quick team with Lafitte, and then finally the DOT team can handle any mysterious team if we lose battle 1 here. But I'm confident we'll win battle 2 at the very least. So timing is kind of everything here. We need to make sure that we use our burst after the enemy uses their Kizaru. Otherwise, it is a massive waste. But also, Blackbeard, remember, he's charging from normal attacks. So if you want to double activate GP burst, your best course of action is to use it immediately as soon as the match starts, and then while our units are getting their CT charged, they'll be doing only normal attacks and Blackbeard will charge very quickly again. But also, even after your first wave of specials, use Blackbeard and then you'll get a lot more normal attacks going. Also, if the enemy decides to delay your CT, that is another opportunity for you to charge Blackbeard with normal attacks. I'm honestly just going to go straight for this. We are cooked. Garp and Kobe is going to straight up just slime our units, bro. Okay, we did our damage ignoring defense. Kuma activates. The haste from Blackbeard GP burst is unbelievably good, man. Nikabani, okay, thank you. CT delay, awesome stuff. Kizaru and Kujaku, Prince Bruce was delayed. Sabo guarantees kills 1 enemy at least. Kind of a waste on Kizaru, he was about to die anyways. Okay, Vegapunk, I made a bit of a mistake here because you really want to fight world government based teams with oh wait, Lucci is a world government unit, so you can see he actually did a bit of damage ignoring defense to Luffy Lucci there. We got confusion on Luffy Lucci as well from Vegapunk, I'm thinking. Is it? Yeah, confusion on a free-to-play unit is disgusting, bro. That's crazy. Confusing Luffy Lucci there might have actually just saved our run, bro. Vegapunk the GOAT. But once again, this is not a great team for Vegapunk because you want to be ability binded so that he dies quick. Actually, wait, no, I'm stupid because if he gets ability binded, his on-death special won't activate. So you want him to get hit with damage ignoring defense, right? Or, you know, I could just throw the strategy out of the window, use Vega Force in the main lineup, or either the 5+ Vegapunk, and then put some other scientist there to fulfill the 3 scientist tag requirement. Kuma, nice. Now, I do think they have improved the AI for the GP burst because a lot of the time the enemy would just waste their burst, but it seems a lot more cautious now about using burst in situations where they think they'll lose. The second they start seeing that they might have a chance of winning, they're gonna spam those bursts. There's 2 situations they won't use the burst. Either they're really cocky and they think they'll win for sure, or if they know they're cooked and they're not gonna waste the burst. But anywhere in between, they're just going to use it. But I think in this situation, they think we have the upper hand, which we kind of do. But this might change the tables here. Garp and Kobe will do a decent amount of damage. They have their super special, man. And we don't have a shield up right now. Oh, that's clean, bro. That animation never gets old. Buffing, spread damage, more spread damage. We will get the on-death for both of these units. Luffy Lucci's dead already though, so Vegapunk will do nothing. Just buff us 1 tiny bit and bye-bye. Oh, he did a decent amount of debuffs at least. Okay, both of those other Vegapunks are coming in. Lilith as well as Edison. I mean, at the end of the day, as even if we have the same amount of allies alive, the game will just take whoever has more HP total as the winner. That actually happened to me earlier. We had this, we both had one ally alive, but I still lost because my one ally had less HP than them. So if you've ever wondered what happens when time runs out and you have equal amount of units, it's determined by who has more HP. I mean, they're really tanky right now. We need some normal attacks to happen. I think I won. I think I won there, bro. Because I have more allies. Right? Pretty good, okay. I don't even think the DOT team will actually see play here. But they didn't use Kizaru at all during that match. So we can now see that counter in play. Using our Blackbeard after their Kizaru. But we don't have Blackbeard already yet. The Emu will activate, but I think my Lafitte will outspeed them if the Emu is not a rumble keyed. But I didn't exactly check what level the Emu was. Was it 120 or higher? No, we did outspeed them. Our Lafitte and Blackbeard has more speed than the Emu, so it's not a rumble keyed. The debuffs are crazy, man. And remember, another very key detail there, if Blackbeard actually charged the GP burst himself, then we would have it already right now. But the GP leader themselves does not contribute to the burst. Very key detail. Even if Blackbeard performs a successful attack, it will not contribute to the normal attack count for the GP burst requirement, because he's the leader. Very shitty detail, but it's preventing us from getting that GP burst ready, bro. It's so annoying. Incredible debuffing from Doc Q and pretty decent damage. Well, in most cases he does pretty decent damage, not exactly this one. But remember, Lafitte is delaying and debuffing Shanks, Blackbeard, and Emu, as well as Buggy. All of these are either strength or driven units. Luffy's the only one that's not getting debuffed by Lafitte, right? Kill the bandit, bro. They're paralyzed. They can't kill the bandit, bro. It's so annoying, right? The thing about Blackbeard is if you're careful about the burst, it can charge very quickly, but other times it's gonna be constant specials, meaning he's never getting it charged up, right? I mean, this isn't the best showcase, but we're also preventing them from using their specials, so their burst is not charging up. Remember, Kizaru's burst charges based on damage dealt, not taken. Buggy's inactivate, ridiculous buffing, bro. Oh shit. And I just had to rub salt on the wound with Kizaru, man. Oh no. I need you, Sandworm Wolf, bro. Just watch what Sandworm Wolf is gonna do, man. So I don't know if he'll kill anyone, but he will give us that that damage ignore defense penetration resistance. And Luffy will do absolutely 0 damage. Lovely. Well, then he does some regular damage. We don't ignore that. Blackbeard, he's gonna try to spread damage, which actually will get us. Shit. Oh no, they just had to use, bro. They should be confident in their victory. Why are they using the burst? We lost, but it is what it is. Yeah, I was overconfident as shit, man. Well, DOT team, save us, man. I don't think I can lose anymore. I think I'm at that point in GP where I'm not allowed to lose anymore. Otherwise, I've just straight up lost. Shit, man, bro. Please, 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 please. This is meant to be a Kizaru counter video, not a Kizaru glaze video. They have giant team. Elbaf team. Okay, this is actually perfect for the DOT one. This team has horrible CT. I did multiple showcases with this team. Albeit that was before Luffy got his super evolution, but besides that, every single one of these units is the exact same as in the showcase. And these units have horrible CT, meaning that this dot team is going to be perfect. They're going to be doing normal attacks for quite a while. Bro, if Caesar and Zoro can actually activate, Caesar needs to activate in the next 3 seconds. Otherwise, he's wasting that CT from the GP leader. Caesar, bro. Bro, Caesar wasted it, bruh. Jupiter and Zoro got charged, but Caesar missed it, bro. You didn't ride the wave, man. And I should have used the burst earlier as well, but I mean, this will kill quite a few of them. Yeah, it's a very easy win, man. It's a very easy win, right? Rodo and Nami, that's going to delay us a bit from Nami, of course. I mean, they lost Zoro, who's their main debuffer, and also DPS. Hyrudine, also DPS gone. I think Hyrudine also gives the damage ignoring defense evasion. So they've lost that as well. I mean, we're not doing any of that on this team, but regardless, Hyrudine is fairly important for their team. Bye-bye. Jupiter's going to do quite a bit of damage. Or not. What are their stats looking like? I combated all them, bruh. Their defense levels are like 10, which is fairly low for the stage of the battle. Okay, we killed... Who is that? Sanji? No, Rodo. Okay. Level 10 dot. Oh, I mean, Blackbeard is just such a wild aging unit, man. Blackbeard versus Law, my god, man. In PvE, Law aged better. In PvP, Blackbeard is eternal, man. Like, level 10 dot, I stress this every time. But if the enemy does a normal attack, bro, do you see what Sanji lost there? Every time he does a normal attack, he loses 50% of his HP thanks to Blackbeard. Not 50% of his current HP, 50% of his max HP. And Blackbeard also gives like a ridiculous amount of defense down in his passive ability. He also delays the enemies so that they do normal attacks to actually activate the dot. Yeah, this is a win for me. The enemy, like, this is the first damage that they're actually doing. Will this actually get their Kizaru already? Not even close. We have damage reduction from our resistance to quick enemies. So yeah, this is a perfect counter for the Elbaf team, actually. Since Luffy's definitively the best DPS character on that team. And we reduce a massive portion of that damage. That was a pretty cool match. I wasn't expecting to get so badly shafted by the 4 Emperors team. Hopefully we can see a more better performance from them, a redemption of sorts in the following GP days. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think of the how well Blackbeard counters Kizaru? He's obviously designed to counter Kizaru, but Kizaru is still really powerful against every other GP leader, I would say. Ganko I've tested, she's pretty impressive, but at the end of the day, I think Blackbeard's providing more value with his CT reductions as a GP leader after 15 seconds, his damage ignoring defense as a GP burst, his haste is just invaluable. Very powerful unit, and of course reducing those debuffs that can completely ruin your team, right? And besides the Holy Knights, Logia doesn't have many units besides Blackbeard's and Kizaru's, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Which characters do you think will be best besides these characters I've mentioned? Shamrock, Ganko, although Shamrock I don't think he's too great, right? But 1230 Blackbeard, even versus Blackbeard, the one that does dot damage, he also has a pretty decent dot burst GP, and he's of course a Logia type, so he's boosted. And then of course Kizaru, but I'm not too sure. I need to check what other units can be used besides this strict confound. Everyone's using these 4 GP leaders, but surely there's more to it. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure to like, subscribe for more Rumble content in the future. Peace, and I'm out.